Okay, so welcome again to SCORE, and I'm presenting on the 7 keys to build an unsinkable business. And so let's take a look at what that means. In the beginning of the year, I personally suffered a little bit of a financial setback in my business, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then I went through certain exercises in my own life and business to, regain a better financial position. That was in January when I thought, okay, I'm fine now, right? Then March came along and really knocked the wind out of my sails. So a lot of the work I was doing to kind of stabilize my financial situation, thankfully, was already in play when COVID came around. So I didn't get I wasn't that surprised, and I didn't get hit without a plan. So that was the most important thing. I was already building my resiliency muscle, and so I didn't get the rug completely pulled out from under me. So the question is not if, but when your business suffers a major setback, and it could be any setback. We're talking about, if God forbid something should happen to you in your health and you can't run your business, if it's financial, if it's whatever it happens to be, what's your response? And when COVID first happened, the first thing I did was get on the phone and I called everybody I knew, like literally everybody I knew, because I was worried about me, but worried about everybody else. So I called all my clients, all my past clients, everybody, all the small business owners, all the entrepreneurs I knew. And I'm like, how are you doing? How are you doing? How is this going for you? And what I discovered was that some entrepreneurs, some business owners were just mired in denial and anger. And they're like, I can't do anything differently. I'm just going to wait until this is over. And if you remember all the way back to mid-March, weren't we told this is just going to be 2 weeks? Remember those 2 weeks? It's been
Yeah.
a really long 2 weeks. So people kept saying, I don't need to do anything differently. I'm just going to wait this out. Well, I wonder how that's going for them, right? And then there are people who are just like, a little bit later on, they actually, broke my heart. They gave in to anguish and despair, and they just were like, oh, well, I guess I just have to give up my business. I'm like, no, don't do that. Why would you do that? There's always another way. There's always, never give up. And I think that true entrepreneurs, the people who are in it to win it, the never say die people like me, we are always able to find a way to pick ourselves up and discover a new strategy, scrape and claw, whatever we need to do to find another way to run our business and be, if success looked like this before, maybe it looks like this now, but it doesn't have to go away entirely. And, as a business owner, you are it. You are solely responsible for managing the outcome. You can't blame anybody else but you. This is your business. So you can say, oh, well, this outside force happened. Yeah, but what you do with your business is completely 100% in your control, and you need to own up to it. And it's easier to own up to it when you are prepared, when you're creative, and when you are determined to be unsinkable, determined to find another solution. I think we all recognize the ship in this background picture. And so, if your business model is struggling, sinking, slamming into an iceberg, are you going to be running up and down the decks of the boat as it's sinking, going, is there a lifeboat anywhere here? That's not the time to start looking for a solution. It's much better if you start building solutions today to mitigate whatever might happen in the future. So whether it's, COVID-19, which is still going on, longest 2 weeks on record, or a recession or some other obstacle in the future. I keep saying next year there will be a plague of locusts. I don't know. Let's talk about some tools that are going to help you overcome major challenges to the survival of your business. So, your biggest tool is your mind and your mindset. And instead of trapping your mind in like, well, I used to be able to do this and now I can't. Oh, well, I guess there's no hope. Um, get yesterday out of your mind, turn around and look at tomorrow. You couldn't do this yesterday. Okay, I got it. But what can I do tomorrow? And, I'm going to pick on Courtney as an example. You have a local place of business where you're inviting the people of the community to come in. Okay, now nobody can leave their home, so that's off the table. Does she close down permanently? No. She says, okay, let's make local a bigger thing. Let's make local the whole world. Let's put this whole thing in a virtual mode, and now we're opening up a much wider audience. So there's, typically there's always something you can do that's maybe very different than what you originally had intended, but certainly can, even be better than it was yesterday. So that's where I like to look. So from this day forward, your job is not just to keep the normal day-to-day operations the way you used to. Your job is to keep looking at what your very best top clients really want and really need from you, and then find a creative ways to deliver it. So your new muscle to build is creativity, and your new business will be unsinkable. So I was talking to my daughter is an architect and she does a lot of design work clearly. And so I was talking to her about this and I said, it's kind of like the story of the three little pigs where, the people who built their homes out of straw, they're going to get the winds, blowing them down and such. And so, it's really about getting small business owners to understand that they have to build their businesses out of the brick. They got to be the brick house pig. And she said, and this is one of those proud mom moments, right? So she said, no, mom, that's not the way to go. Here's what the pigs should do. They should build a 2-story brick building, live upstairs, turn the downstairs into a pub, invite the wolves to come and drink, and now they're making money from the wolves and the wolves will leave them alone. And I thought, okay, I can die now. My daughter's brilliant. But this is what, it's all about opportunity. What can you do that's radically different that maybe you never thought possible before and can actually be a better outcome than you could ever imagine? So think about the Huff and Puff Cafe. How can you make your business into a place that not just survives, but also thrives? So we're going to go into each one, but the 7 keys to build an unsinkable business is to define your mission and vision, because no matter what you do, that's always the first step. Whether you've been in business 1 day or 100 years, always take the time to address and revise your mission and vision. Discover your ideal client, because again, no business can ever survive without one. Hone your unique value proposition, build your resiliency plan, which I'm betting nobody has ever done before because I just made it up, to structure your profitability plan, construct your risk management plan, and create your communications plan. So a lot of these are things I developed myself because, out of necessity. And I think that because they worked so well for me, I wanted to share that with other people. So we'll just go through them. So you've got your original business model, which is very good, but now you need to build your unsinkable business model. And when you look at all of the components of that, you're going to define and clarify the details in terms of the income you need, not just, oh, I think I'd like $1 million. No. You need to know exactly how much you need to live the life you want to live, to define the clients that you really want to serve, no matter how you figure out a way to serve them. You're going to define the offers that you'll sell to those clients that's going to fulfill their needs, and the systems and the processes that you can put in place that is repeatable so that you can run a smooth operation, and also so that you can bring in other people into your business and train them to run the whole business smoothly. So let's start with your mission and vision. And some of you may have heard, you need to start with your why. People are saying, what's your why? Start with your why. As much as I really don't like that expression, I understand that it's really, really valuable. So what I say is, take the time to explore your personal story. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the times I will ask a person, how did you get into this business? Why did you choose this type of business? So I might ask, Alice, what's your personal story? And she'll tell me about how she worked with, in a real estate office and worked with social media, and then really gained a lot of knowledge and wanted to make that what she wanted to focus her business on. So how did you get here, right? How did you get to this point in your life? How did you start this business? Why? How did you define yourself? Why did you choose this industry? Why are you serving this type of clients? And what made you decide how you do what you do? When you write out your mission, and I really do encourage each and every one of you to go sit down with a journal, go get a glass of wine or whiskey, I don't care, and just say, okay, how did I get here? And write out your personal story. Somewhere in your personal story, I guarantee you will find your mission. And once you do, it's going to go on your website. One of my favorite things to do with my clients is I'll start saying, well, what in your personal history has, is connecting you to the business today? And they're like, oh no, there's no personal story. I'm like, yeah, I bet you there is. They're like, no, there's no personal story. And then I won't let them off the hook, and I'll keep asking them questions. And lo and behold, there's a personal story. And it's a lovely personal story. I'm like, oh my God, why are you keeping that a secret? They're like, I didn't even realize it was there. So it's always there. There's always a story. So dig deep. I also like to highlight my current and past clients, just to show you that real people have done this, that you don't have to be a perfect business in order to get this done. All kinds of real ordinary people have done this. If they can do it, you can do it too. And so here is Erin, who runs a recruiting company, and she's, her mission is to eradicate toxic work environments and to support the small business owner in building great places to work. She's very passionate about that mission. She's very adamant about that mission. Her entire business is around the mission of eradicating toxic workplaces. It's something she believes wholeheartedly in because she has a personal story behind it. And it really fuels her through everything that the business operations leads her to do. Here are two guys who run CB Tech Support, and we worked together for a while, and their mission is clear, and they believe wholeheartedly in their mission, which really sets them apart from all the other IT guys I've ever met. And they say we have a desire to help business owners understand the impact of technology and how through a foundation of technical alignment, they can support their business and help them meet their business goals. So for them, they always say it's not technology for technology's sake. It's we're here to actually help the business owner get where they want to go and do it the right way. And they are very passionate about that. They will do anything they need to do to help their client build a better business. And it's their client and their desire that leads the technology, not the other way around. So in terms of your mission, your vision rather, you want to look at the future. So with your mission, you've looked at the past. How did I get here? With your vision, you want to look at the future. Where am I going to go from here? And some people kind of don't really want to do this part, like, oh, do I have to? I don't really have a good imagination. I'm like, no, you have to. And so think about, if you close your eyes and you kind of half dream about it, what is your company like in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years? If you can envision what your company will be like in a few years, you will also start to see that your life will also be changing in those few years. So for example, I talked once to a mom of a toddler who had just started her business. And I'm like, what's your business like in 5 years? And she's like, oh my gosh, by then I'll have a 7-year-old. I'm like, yeah. your whole life changes as well as your business changes, and they're going to change together. So be aware of what is your business like in the future? What's your family like in the future? And how is your company going to change your life? How's your life going to change your company? And what are you prepared to do to make those goals happen? And so what do you need to do starting today to make the future be where you wanted it to be? The reason why this is so important is because, and corny as this sounds, your vision is, I always see a lighthouse standing in front of me. And if you're the ship going in, foggy, murky, nighttime waters, and you're not sure which way to turn, right, left, whatever, or port or starboard, you see a lighthouse in front of you, like, oh, okay, all I have to do is keep focused on that lighthouse, and I'll get to where I want to go. And that's what your vision is. And when I work with my clients, they're saying, I'm not sure whether to do this or do this. I'm like, well, what does your vision say? Let's go back to that and make sure you're still driving towards your vision and not getting distracted along the way. So I just want to stop for a second. Has anybody experienced a time when you were making all kinds of business decisions and you had the shiny object syndrome? You're like, ooh, there's this opportunity, dangling in the distance. I wonder if I should do that. And then you're like, do I? Is that the right decision? Do I go there? It looks very attractive. I don't know. Has anybody ever experienced that? Am I the only one? Well, if you want to share in the chat box, you're more than welcome to. It's happened to me many times over the years, and I get this from my clients too. Like, I just got an opportunity. I'm like, here we go. And then I talk them through it. They're up in the clouds. Oh, I just got this shiny new opportunity to do this thing. Okay, let's get grounded. Is this where you wanted to go in the first place? And so that is what your vision really helps you to do, is to stay grounded. Here's Anne. She owns a fitness studio in Madison. And at first she didn't want to do my vision exercise, but then she talked herself into it. A glass of wine really does help. And she wound up with a 3-page paper. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And it's so detailed. This is only 4 bullets out of a 3-page piece of paper. And so she was seeing it. She saw her studio completely a bigger place, lots of things going on, lots of activities going on, all in line with her mission. And I could tell it got her more excited about her business, because now she had a vision to move toward. And whatever we were thinking about doing, whenever something came up, like, let's go back to your vision. Was that already included, or is this something totally different? She's like, oh no, you're right. So it really does help. And here's Nikki, who owns Mindful Matters. She does transformational coaching, and she's awesome. She did a whole detailed vision, like, oh my goodness, it's practically a book. But because she is a transformational coach, she had no problem with this exercise. And she was giving me, like, down to the nitty gritty details, everything that her life was going to look like in the future. And I thought it was awesome, because the more you can visualize the future, the easier it is to make that happen. So key number 2 is discover your ideal client, what's happening in their world and what they really, really, really want. I can't even tell you how important this is, because if you started a business and you're not clear on who you want to serve, that's going to just give you additional struggles and keep you in the fog much longer. Once you identify your ideal client and your best client, your top client, then the whole world opens up, and now you can focus on just these people, what it is that they want, what it is that they're struggling with, and how you can help them. So, again, who is it that you're serving? What challenges are they going through? What were they going through before? And now what new challenges have come up with, with them during COVID? How has their life changed? This is where you really need to reach out to them. Even if you haven't worked with a client for years, this is the time for you to reach out to them saying, I was just thinking about you. I need to know, how things are doing. Because if they were a really great client, you want to keep in the loop as to how their world is changing right now. So what do they value the most? And if their needs changed, how are you positioned to keep serving them? In case you're not sure how to get to an ideal client, this is my secret sauce. You can write these down. I can email them to you. Take a screenshot. I don't care. They're mine to give away to you. But an ideal client will check off all of these 7 points. They need or they want what you have to offer. Even if they say they don't have a way to pay for your services, they will find a way. I've had that happen. I know it's true. They follow your process and they trust your expertise. They give you additional business, but they don't expect for you to work extra at no pay. They will pay you for those additional services. They tell everyone you're great and they send you referrals. You're happy to hear from them. My test is when they call you and you look at the caller ID. Are you smiling or are you frowning? If you're smiling at the caller ID, you're probably an ideal client. And so you're happy to hear from them and you're happy when you work with them. They bring you joy. And then you go out of your way to give them even more because you're having such a great experience with them. So these are twin sisters. Their mom gave them their best marketing advice, our marketing tip. They named them Faith and Hope. And so as architecture firm, they always say, when you're working with us, you're building with hope and faith. And I'm like, I hope you're paying your mom commission, because come on. So, they had their process. I've been working with them for years. They had their process, but obviously with COVID, they had to change a few things. And one of the things we worked on together is, who's your ideal client? They said, oh, we've worked on this several times with several coaches. We never really got it right, but we worked on it together and we got it. And so they say, well, while the other architects chase the high-end client and the high-end project, we actually love working with regular, normal, everyday people. And so their specialty is working with regular people who just want a home that they love every day. And this has become their brand. They have become known in their circles for this. Everybody recognizes them and their message. And they are so busy. They are busier than ever. I can't even get to talk to them now. Like, can we please schedule a time to talk? And we're like, we are so slammed with customer projects. And that started to happen after they identified and marketed to their ideal client. So that leads us to honing your unique value proposition. Now you know who you want to work with, how are you going to work with them? So understanding who you want to serve, what unique solution are you going to offer? How are you going to operate differently than your competition? And who are you going to specialize in serving? So this is not a 5-minute discussion. This takes some time. It takes some, kind of brainstorming. The best tip I can give you today is to think about the people you love working with in the past and interview them and say, what is it you like about working with me? What can I do better? What is it that I don't offer yet that you would love for me to offer? Ask them 1,000 questions. If you already know you like working with this person, find out what is it that they value. They're like, well, I always love the fact that you turn things around quickly or you go the extra mile. We don't know what they're going to say. So you need to ask them, what is it that they like? And so what can you do more of? It's one of those things where it seems obvious, but we always overlook it because we're looking for a more difficult scenario. So the easiest thing to do is find a happy client and ask them why they're happy, and then do more of that thing, whatever they said they loved about you. So, in looking for ways to serve your clients differently, especially when you're building an unsinkable business, you want to understand what they need, the challenges they need to solve and why. Why is it so important to them? What have they tried before? Why hasn't it worked? Why do they need you now more than ever before? Find out what they really, really want. And this is what I usually call the iceberg conversation. If you ask a client, okay, what's your biggest challenge right now? Number one, they'll give you a polite answer because, they don't want to like break down and cry in front of you. So that's the tip of the iceberg. Your job is to keep asking questions and keep digging down, 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 and find out what transformation is it they're really looking for. Hint, we all want a transformation. So how will their life be different working with you? How will they feel when they work with you? These are all really crucial questions to ask them. And then how can you create not just a good or delightful experience, but a remarkable experience? So when they're working with somebody who's similar to you, and then they're working with you, what's going to make them describe you as remarkable? That was fantastic working with Walter or Courtney or Betty. How can you make them feel special? Another example is Evelyn Kuchera, who calls herself the toy tamer because she's not a regular, ordinary professional organizer. She specializes and only does playrooms. She is the playroom person. She's the toy tamer. And her business super duper relies on being able to go into the client's home because she will go in and do the work. She will tear apart your playroom. She will design it and put it back the way it should be. And without being able to go into her clients' homes, her business was at a standstill. Even worse, all of her materials come from IKEA. Guess who closed down during COVID? IKEA was shut down. She's like, okay, I'm stuck. Can't get into my client's home, can't get to my supplies. And if ever meet Evelyn, she's always a happy person. And she says, you know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to create an online DIY course. And that's exactly what she did. She says, I don't even know if I want to make a lot of money off of it. I just know that I've always wanted to do it. I've had people from Ohio and California ask me, can I come over to their house and tame their playroom? And I said, no, I can't really be flying all over the world. And so she always had in the back of her head, I could probably create an online DIY course in toy taming and sell that. And so since she was stuck with COVID, that's exactly what she did. So it's out there. And I just talked to her like the day before yesterday. She's like, yeah, I sold a few of those courses and now I'm back in people's homes and such. And now her problem is she can get into IKEA, but IKEA is out of everything. With all the work from home and school from home situations, she says, you cannot buy a desk at IKEA, and you cannot buy anything that looks like a desk at IKEA because they're out of everything. So there's always a challenge. And we were brainstorming that challenge the other day for her, but she's a never say die type of person, and she's always looking for new ways to serve her clients. Any questions so far? The first three were kind of very heady. No, good to go. Okay, good. All right, any questions along the way, please just throw them in the chat box. I can see them, so don't be shy about that. All right, so step 4 is to build your resiliency plan, and that's probably something you've never heard of before. Once again, I made it up. So a business resiliency plan is going to allow you to remain open to new ideas. You're like exercising that muscle in your brain that says, okay, let's listen. Let's hear this person out. Let's map this out and see what's going on. It's going to allow you to change your course of action quickly because you planned it out ahead of time. And it's going to discover new ways to care for your customers, which is always a good thing. As long as you build your determination and willingness to be flexible in your business and are not married to, well, this is the way we've always done it, start looking at possible new ways to do it. It becomes easier and easier and easier. So these are some of the things that goes into a resiliency plan. So you want an analysis of all your expenses. Why am I spending this money? Do I really need to spend this money? A smart investments list is sometimes you need to spend money because it's called an investment, not that you're just spending money. Like for me, paying for Netflix is not an investment, it's an expense, but I kind of need it to save my brain from, being fried. However, if you were to buy a better computer or buy a better webcam, that would be considered an investment that you need to run your business better. So you want to do a revenue forecast, understand, okay, this is how much I'm making now, this is how much money I need to make in the future in order to meet all my goals. You want to acknowledge what constraints you have in your business world right now. You want to recognize what strengths you have and do some what if projections. And the most important thing is to come up with creative solutioning. So in order to discover a new focus, you need to be able to be ready to change any one of these three things. Maybe you do the same thing you always do, but for a whole different set of clients. Maybe you do the same, maybe you serve those same clients, but give them a different type of service. Or maybe you stay with the same clients and the same service, but you deliver the method differently. And always think, what is it of these three boxes can I change and still thrive? So, once COVID hit, I wound up with the best vegetables of my life because we wound up getting vegetables from a restaurant supply. And so they couldn't sell to restaurants, so they sold to individuals, and we had really good food for a while until the restaurants opened. Here's a business associate. She does paperwork for her elderly clients, and she knew that she couldn't go into her clients' homes during COVID, but she also knew that they were very elderly and they couldn't handle technology, and she wasn't expecting them to all of a sudden be Zoom experts overnight. So she'd have her clients set out their paperwork on their front porch. She'd drive to the house, collect the box, do all of her work in the back seat of her car, call them from her car if she had questions, do the work, put them back on the front porch, watch them pick up the box and leave. She never intended to do that in the beginning, but she was doing it during COVID. Her clients love her for it. And now, word about her is spreading even more. So number 5 is to structure your profitability plan. When there's no profitability plan, you're proud of what you created. You want everyone to buy your products and services, and you might set your prices so that they're super reasonable. But then you think, well, if I set my prices really low, I'll get a lot of people to buy it. But then, if you haven't figured out how much do I need to make in order to live a good life, how much do I need to make to break even on all my expenses, you're just kind of dug yourself into a rut, and you're never going to reach your break even point. So when you're setting your prices, it's not about randomly choosing numbers. You need to know and evaluate your income, intentions, what's an expense versus what's an investment. How much do you need to take in to establish profitability? How can you raise your profit margin? And also, very important, what a lot of people look over is, again, going back to your best clients, of all the products and services you offer, what do they love and what do they ignore? So if you have things that you offer and offer and offer, but nobody takes you up on it, it's time to let those things go and instead focus on the products that people already tell you that they love. And this is Andrea from Smartly Organized. And so she knows her numbers, she documents everything, she knows exactly how to plan for expenses, she documents her processes, she sets prices to cover the fact that she has to pay for her team, pay for the materials, pay herself, and see some business profitability. So with all of her documentation and her processes, she's also able to onboard new team members in just a couple of days because she's already done her research and she's got it all down. So again, think about, what did my best customers buy in the last 2 years? Why those things? What was their need that those things served? What was the goal that they were striving for? Why do they want that goal? And can I continue to do this? Is it sustainable? And can it grow with you? So, a lot of deep questions. Don't expect anyone to come up with it in 5 minutes. These are things you just need to think about or work with somebody with. Creating a communications plan is not marketing. So, if you're not talking to people all along, then once you reach out to somebody in your marketing, they're going to like, who are you again? I forgot who you were. And you don't seem very genuine. So don't ignore the past clients and expect that they will buy from you in the future. So a communications plan is not focused on selling. It's not what I'm talking about. We're not talking traditional marketing. We're talking about keeping in contact with people and just asking them how they are. So I have a list of people that I check on. Every week I go through my list and see who can I reach out to today. So you want to, how are you doing? Everything okay? Is your family good? What's changed during COVID? You know, what's changed in these circumstances? And is there anything I can do to help? And if you keep reaching out on a regular basis to people saying, is there anything I can do to help? When it is time for your marketing, people are more likely to listen to you. Very important to serve your missions. We can circle right back around to that. And when you're doing your traditional marketing, always make sure you lead with your mission, letting your customers know that you're there to serve them. It's your mission to serve them. And you want to do so in a value-based manner. And of course, being sensitive to their current needs. A trend in marketing today that I especially love is making your clients the hero of the story. So back in the day, a few years ago, we would say, we're the best provider of whatever in the world. We're so good. We're so experienced. We're awesome. And it didn't really connect with a lot of people. So now the focus on marketing is on your client and how they're awesome and how they're great, and then how you're going to serve them, because they are the hero of the story and you are their guide, you are their champion. So let your customers know, whatever happens, I will find a way to not abandon you. I want to serve you no matter what. And that is a very powerful message. The last key, we're wrapping up here, is to build a risk management plan. I learned how to do this many years ago when I took a project management certification, and this has never left me. This is one part of the project management certification program that I actually remember, as building a risk management plan. So this allows you to think forward and try and predict what are all the possible challenges that could possibly happen to me in my business in the future. What's the impact of each of those challenges? And then what can I do? What action can I design ahead of time to, to answer those new challenges? And what are some safeguards I can put in place to mitigate the impact? In terms of managing your risk, understand this. COVID, knocked the wind out of our sails. But this is not the last challenge we have to go through. There will always be another challenge. So this risk management is not something you do because of COVID. This is because you are a business owner, period. So you want to you want multiple solutions at the ready to mitigate any situation that might arise, and list every possible eventuality and lots of different ways to solve the problem. And then as at least once, I would say once every 6 months, you want to revisit your risk management plan and update it. And then finally, you want to dig into resources. Why are you doing this alone? That is crazy. It's one lesson I learned, is that even though I run this business by myself, I don't run it by myself. I count on the help of a lot of different people. So if you have an accountant, a financial advisor, an attorney, if you belong to an organization for your industry, or even a networking organization, if you belong to a local chamber, you want to brainstorm with these people. You want to, always rub shoulders with people that are smart and smarter than you. and rely on them for their support, you want to go ahead and interview possible coaches and consultants. Just interview them. That's all I'm saying. And then, hello, get a SCORE mentor. It's kind of silly not to have one. They're free and they're right here waiting to help. And you can also consider there's lots of different types of group programs out there if you don't want to do a private thing. Um, in my world, I would tell you to do all of these things. All of these things are available to you. Why not take advantage of all of it? So that is how to build an unsinkable business. Remember that it's key to keep modifying your unsinkable business model. Always find a new strategy. Be flexible, creative, and prepared. I am not a SCORE mentor. I own my own business, but I do, typically I offer a 30-minute phone consultation for free. For SCORE, I'll do a 45-minute consultation for free. So I welcome anyone to reach out to me. There's my email. Let's talk for 45 minutes about, your business and what you have going on. Definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. And I would love for you to sign up for a SCORE mentor because I have one. Alice and I actually share the same SCORE mentor. And I think we can definitely speak to how critical it is.
We have, hopefully, I guess, we had one chat room inquiry by Sun On. He is a graphic designer trying to figure out my next steps in order to get my own clients. I think if you could connect with them, Susanna, they had a leave at 1 p.m. and it's now 1. But I think that's some of that would be a good contact.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Betty says, really excellent presentation, makes one thing really of all the key elements needed to be successful, and probably makes a good list in the survival tough times. I agree with this event. It was really very thorough and done in a way that very understandable and concrete and actionable. So thank you, Susanna, for doing that.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions? Anyone else that's still on the call that would like to talk to Susanna about their specific business or a key challenge they're facing? This is the time.
That's a very thorough presentation. Thank you, Susanna.
You're welcome.
Okay, with that,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Do we just ask a question just like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were talking about the shiny object syndrome, it took me a while to realize, yeah, I definitely have experienced that. And especially now with the whole restructuring the business online virtually. And I tend to still have that issue where it came to a point where I said, you know what, I'm going to put myself in a 90-day plan where I can't change anything. And I have to just ground myself and focus and just stay according to the plan. So I guess my question is, how do you know when the right time is to maybe pivot, maybe to go after that shiny thing that, may actually benefit, the business?
That is an extraordinary question. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's my next blog post. I love having you guys, give me my next blog post. But so a couple of things. When you mentioned the fact that, okay, I have a 90-day plan and I can't veer from it. That's not true. So again, I've never been a sailor in my life, but suddenly I'm talking about sailing. So think about a boat. And they never sail in a straight line until they get to their destination. They have to deal with the wind and the rough seas. So a sailboat will actually do this and they keep tacking, or some sailing term. And so they keep shifting and shifting and shifting, but they will get to their destination, but it's never a straight line. So I think a plan, a 90-day plan, any kind of plan is excellent. Understand that things will come up in the universe that you will at least need to pay attention to and see, is it a shiny object, or is it something that's going to get me to my destination? So that's why I say having, planning the other things out first, your mission and your vision first, will be super helpful, because you always need to go back. Well, is this going to get me to my final destination? Or is it going to, veer me completely out of the way? And I was, kind of traveling towards Hawaii, and now all of a sudden I'm heading towards the Philippines. And how the hell did that happen? Oh, sorry. But you want to understand, like, if you were intending to go to Hawaii and this other opportunity comes along, am I still going to be able to get to Hawaii? So sometimes opportunities do present themselves to us through the universe, and you're like, oh, that's actually going to get me to Hawaii much faster. Or it could be, veering us off course. So, do the vision first and visualize a year from now, visualize 3 years from now. I can't tell you how helpful it is. It's incredibly helpful.
Can I build on that?
Yep.
I also think that do some research into the shiny object or this new opportunity, and understand it more thoroughly than just looking at it at face value. Number two is, does it complement your current competency and how you're doing your business? Or is it totally off base? Anything that's totally off base really needs to be thought through more thoroughly than just being enamored by looking at it, or some money, or a promise of what money you can make with it. What's really good is for you to say to yourself, this new opportunity actually uses most of my competency, what I do well. And it actually adds to your business. Should be a portfolio of either products or services. And does it add to that portfolio, or actually take away time and resources to build it and make it part of it? So think of it as your business as like a bank account. You want to have some long-term and short-term savings. Your business should be looking at things that you can make money on right now, and always have a couple of things that you're evaluating for how can you add them to your portfolio. They're called adjacencies. You bring them in to your portfolio. But if they're totally disconnected, be very, very careful about why you're going to have to forego your energy, your time, and money to chase this. Because that's really what happens when they're that distinctively different. Does that help?
Y'all have no idea. That really helps. That really just cleared up so much for me. Definitely.
Awesome.
Right.
Love it.
Right.
Love it. That's why we're here.
And the other thing I would do is ask your current clients, whenever you see that new opportunity, ask them. It's really good to talk earlier in the development of an idea, or looking at something and evaluating it. Ask them what they think of this, because they're currently using your services, your brilliance. What do they think? Would it add value to their business? And I've learned this by working with startups. Some of them were real closed and they wouldn't share anything. They ended up being slower to really make enough money than those that opened up and actually asked a lot of friends, family, clients, what do you think of this? And believe me, and I've heard this from other very successful startup companies, I'm talking about multiple millions of dollars startups, have said, talk your idea, shop it. So even if it's a shiny object that's working for somebody else, it may not be a great fit for your clients.
Right. And remember, it's the top clients. So there's going to be, in the life of your business, there's going to be, even if you only have 5 clients because you just started, you can just rank them, A, B, C, D, and always look at what the A clients want and what the A clients need. And you're going to get some lower level clients saying, oh, that sounds like a great idea. But, they're the ones that don't make you happy, don't make you money. So give them less importance than the top clients that you really want to serve. Can this new thing actually help me serve my top clients even better? And so would the experience be even more remarkable for them? So, just having these keys kind of down pat, write them all down, keep a little binder. I think that when you write this all down and it's kind of like a written plan in front of you, it just helps to ground you.
The other last point I would really ask the group to think about is, where is my industry, the segment I compete in, going? Because what you might find is there's some early adopters to these shiny, big new ideas. And it's smart to be on the lookout for what are the trends and where am I going, so that you're not the fourth, fifth to adopt it, and then you're really competing more on price than on the value. So it doesn't mean that every shiny object should be dismissed, but it really is important for you to, like she's saying, keep a diary of trends that you're seeing. And you will start to say, or be able, just intuitively, I think, you'll be able to intuitively say, that's fitting this trend that I keep seeing coming up. I'm going to look more do my deep dive into that idea.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Welcome so much.
All right, well, is there any other questions out there? Thank you, Susanna, for putting this on. You could do